All right, and hear each other and compliment one another. Can we have something very strong?
Thank you very much. Major General Swartkop, all senior officers present here, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, my family, I greet you all in the name of our Father Jesus Christ, amen. It's very difficult for me to be standing here in front of you today, but somebody had to do it. We are here to celebrate my little brother, Mandla Maseko. Mandla was my cousin. Mandla's dad is my uncle. Talking about such a young and motivated young man, it's very difficult. I remember when Mandla wanted to go to space, the family was very proud. You can imagine in South Africa, our surname was talked everywhere. So the family was very proud. In our family, we've got so many girls and few boys. So to have one of our boys being recognized, we were so proud. And I told the family on Sunday, we can cry. It's fine, we'll miss Mandla, he won't come back. But maybe God had a plan. Hence, at that young age, already he achieved so much. God had a plan to say, you're going to achieve all of this because you are not for this earth. I'm going to recall you very soon. Because at that young age, to achieve so much, it's scary. And to say to the people, the sky is not the limit, your mind is. It shows that already the angels were there singing to say we are going to get one of our own very soon. And I would like to say to my family, be comforted. I know we are asking many questions, why? But we must also ask a question, who? Because if it's not us, then it must be another family. Last week I was burying one of my colleagues who died on duty. I said to the family, you know, when we come we face death, we always question, and there will always come people, go to this one, it was not time, it's witchcraft, it's that and that. But we know in the Bible, it was always said that you will be born and you will die. And we need to accept that. Mama Mandla, it's very difficult. They are saying the pain of losing a child, there's no other like that one. Lose a husband, tomorrow you'll get another one. Lose a wife, tomorrow you'll marry another one. But the child will never be replaced. He will always be your baby. But found comfort in God and pray. The good thing is our family, we are a praying family. We are all Anglicans sitting here and we pray. And with God, you'll find comfort. Colleagues, I know it's going to take time, it's going to be very difficult sitting in that office and seeing the empty chair. But your solace must always be God. Have that Bible and always say, He's with God. On Saturday, when we take Mandla to his final resting place, for most of us, we will feel this is it, we are done. But that will only be the body. Mandla will live with us forever. And we must always remember that. I know it's very difficult. I know. In my family, this is the first time we lose a grandchild. First time. And we never thought. But it happened. With that, I will say, Dudu Sekane. Mandla is in peace. That was his final day. On Saturday, he knew when he wake up, I'm going to meet my maker. And we must all, as we are sitting here, say we are in a better place. And we must not question God's ways. God wanted it to be like this. Hence it's like this today. Thank you very much.
bikers, I just don't want to see people lifting their knees high wearing skirts. So we have to bring some order at some point. We understand the enthusiasm and the spirit. We're still military members bound by our code of conduct, which must be displayed without shame at all times, regardless the conditions. I'm going to call now the family rep. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, colleague. We understand. And indeed, just to amplify your words, we're a secular society, but in the main we are Christians, and when we pray, we say, Father, let thy will be done on earth as it will be in heaven. But sometimes our human frailty prohibits us from understanding the will of God and abiding by it, because it doesn't tally with ours. So we will be in tears when God displays his will and God unleashes his plans with all of us. So it is only human and acceptable that we will grieve when one of us live as untimely as Mandla did. I'm going to call the family rep now, and I'm going to try to be polite and correct. Ms. Manana to come forward and say a few words on behalf of the family. May we have a song.
Members of the bereaved family, senior members of the South African Airforce, Corporal Mandla Maseko's colleagues and friends, good morning. Mandla and I have come from we come from far. I basically grew up with Mandla. I've known Mandla since I was knee-high. And we got around. The first memory I have of Mandla is of Mandla and his dad DJing together. Music was Mandla's first love, and that's how I knew Mandla. When my brother passed away about 12 years ago, Mandla became my brother. He was there for me, and he encouraged me. I remember there was a time when I felt lost, when I felt like I had no one, and Mandla was there. Last year, when I had spent over a year without employment, he took me on my birthday and said, let's go get a tattoo together. That's another thing that he loved. He had tattoos. And the tattoo had my name and birds. And he said, remember that you are lucky and that you can fly as high as you want and dream as much as you want. As his famous quote is, the sky is not the limit, but your mind is. The following day, I got a call for an interview. I went to the interview, I got the job, and to this day, I'm working there permanently, and that was the encouragement of Mandla. Mandla is a humble soul, a loving person. He valued family, and he valued friends. Mandla made time for each one of his friends, regardless of how many they were, and I did not know how he made the time. Whenever you would have an argument with Mandla, he would give you time later, a couple of weeks later, call you and say, "Mfethu, sharp, ne? We cool, right? Sharp." And then he would come, give you the biggest hug and say, "All right, let's go for it." Mandla always went with all my crazy ideas, zip lining, whatever. If I said, "Mandla, I have this idea, let's go and do it," he went with it, and we had the most fun. The last time I saw Mandla was a couple of weeks ago. He was in my area and he called me, he said, "Mandla, I'm in your hood." I'm like, "And so?" It's like, "No, come see me." And I'm like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "At the car wash." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And he just said, "I just wanted to see you," gave me the biggest hug and said, "Think of me." Little did I know that was my brother saying goodbye to me. To Mandla's siblings, I know you've lost a brother, but today you've gained brothers and sisters. To Mama le Papa, you raised a gentleman, a humble and loving soul. Mandla did not leave you alone. He left you with sons and daughters. And we are all here to support you in this time. Whenever you need us, call us and we'll come running. In closure, I find it befitting to send you off with a poem, my dearest friend. Miss me, but let me go. When I come to the end of the road and the sun has set for me, I want no rights in a gloom-filled room. Why cry for a soul set free? Miss me a little, but not too long, and not with your heads bowed down. Remember the love that was once shared. Miss me, but let me go. For this is a journey we all must take, and each must go alone. It is all part of the Master's plan, a step on a road to home. When you're lonely and sick of heart, go to the friends we know. Bear your sorrow in good deeds. Miss me, but let me go. Mandla, thank you for giving me the honor to share your life. We love you. We will miss you. Till we meet again. Goodbye, my friend.
Most beautifully said. Honestly and sincerely, I think it came out as it was meant. As we progress with our program, we've got the bikers on the side waiting also to do their thing, but I'm hoping that they're not gonna roar those things in this hall, because I know what sound will come from there is very close to one of those platforms that we use to defend this country. So please bear with us, guys. Don't tear our eardrums. Thank you, my darling. Thank you, ma'am. You said it beautifully. I'm now going, as I make these remarks, I'm actually directing them to this gentleman. Oh, the height is different now. Yeah. We are vertically advantaged and disadvantaged in our own ways. So I'm going to request the president of the Bikerville, they call themselves, and I'm not going to say a misty or a miss because I was launched into dangerous territory earlier. So I'll just call the name in neutral terms because I've seen biker ladies here and anyone could fit the office of the president. So me being afraid I don't have money for lawyers, I'll call the name. Somkapile Matangu to come over and represent the biker.
Mr. Master of Ceremony, I pass my greetings to you. The protocols of the SAA, the protocols of the SANDF, I humble myself before you. The congregation, the family of Mandla Maseko, everybody that is in this auditorium, words are sometimes shouting away, but unfortunately we just have to be brave and speak. I am Somkalipi Mashango, Somkalipi. No lawyer will be involved. I speak on behalf of the biking fraternity, not being the president of the biking fraternity at large, but being the president of Tshwane Legend Bikers Club, which is abbreviated as TLB. But it is an honor for me to also speak on behalf of the biking fraternity at large. The perception out there about bikers is resting on 4 pillars. The first pillar of the perception is that bikers are hooligans. The second pillar of the perception is that bikers are thugs. The third pillar of the perception is that bikers are swankards. The fourth pillar of the perception is that bikers are heartbreakers. That is the perception out there about bikers. I'm here to put clarity to that, to say none of the above, none of those befit the biker description. If that was so true, Mandla would not have been part of us, because Mandla was very particular. He would not associate himself with thugs. He would not have associated himself with hooligans. He would not have associated himself with swankards. He would not have associated himself with heartbreakers. Mandla was a very humble person. What are we as bikers? And that is what led Mandla to come to the family of the biking fraternity. It is the love and the care that is there in the biking fraternity. The community work that we do as bikers. Remember, as bikers, we come from all professions, you name them. That is how we are made as bikers. Where we are, there is joy. Where we are, there is happiness. Where we are, there is no stress. I've never seen a biker that has got stress. They come with their stresses from their different places. Once they come into the conversion, all the stress is gone. That is the bikers. And we pride ourselves to be bikers as black people this time. Because the biking thing is known to be a white thing. But we have come into this field, we have occupied it, and we are there to stay. as bikers. We do community work, which Mandla subscribed to. We build homes for those who don't have homes. We put food on the table for those who don't have food. We cry with those who cry and comfort them. We rejoice and smile and laugh with those who laugh. That is us as bikers. The role of Mandla Maseko, which was identified by me, a self-proclaimed role of Mandla. Every time when we bike in a staggered formation. The purpose of the staggered formation is that you must see, if you are on the right, keeping the right lane, you must see the biker that is on the left through your mirror and your full mirror. Those are road safety precautions. If you don't see your fellow biker on the left on that mirror and you must see him fully with his whole bike, then you must understand that the distance that you are keeping is not a safe distance. It has to be safe so that the other person cannot be able to come in between. Because if they can get a gap to come in between, they're going to hit another person on the other side. And all the crew that is following that crew will then be able to pack on that. That is the first safety precaution. The second safety precaution is that as you see your fellow biker, you must also be able to see other motorists. And that also assists you to measure your distance and time, so that in the event of any eventuality, you are able to move without disturbing or causing harm to other bikers. That is basically the issue. And when we bike at all times, we ensure, for safety reasons again, that our ladies are always kept in the front. For some time I've been thinking, where does this staggered formation come from? And I've realized that whoever came with the staggered formation, he might have learned it from the baboons. Because I've observed when baboons cross the road, there is one baboon, Eribizangrotoga state. That baboon will always be on the sideline. It moves up and down whilst the pack is crossing. The female baboons are always in front, in a staggered formation. You've got one female baboon, followed by a young baboon, a child, if I may call it like that, then another female baboon with a child, just like that. Then you have got all the male baboons coming from the back in a staggered formation. Then you have got this one, that is marshalling. And I'm giving a lecture, a free lecture to my marshals as well. The purpose for that is, if anything dangerous was to come, Roto gives signals. The male ones immediately cover up until they cross. If you can watch when bikers are riding on the freeway or in any public road, I'm sure you'll observe that. And that is what Mandla would do. Mandla would play a roto role, but his roto role was more on females. And the other person that does it so well gumshoes. Every time our lady bikers are going, whether they're going to Mozambique, whether they're going where, I even call him Simpatle Waneng, Patle Basadi. He's always with them. When they get punctures, when anything goes wrong, he's there to make sure that he fixes the bikes, he does sure that he take care of them. And Mandla positioned himself in that space, and he did it so well. So our major focus as bikers should be on road safety. I think there was a lot of anger that I sensed. Why this, why that? We can't provide those answers. But I think the task that we have, I think we need to move here. I've said it when we were burying Annie. I'm going to say it again here because I've not seen it happening. We can blame everybody, we can blame the public. But if the public is not conscientized about road safety, we are not going to win this battle. I think we need to move in there with love. We need to move in there, take that space and conscientize the public about road safety and become conscious of road safety as well as bikers. I know that we love motorists and I know that they love us too. Incidents and accidents do happen. Mama, yesterday you asked a question and you were saying, who should I blame? Should I blame God? Should I blame the bike? Or who should I blame? My answer to you was, which I want to emphasize today, blame no one, for it was time. It was time. That is the time that God has borrowed Mandla to us. And if God said that time is over, there is nothing much that we can do about it. We can't even argue with him. We just need to submit. I'm urging that we submit. As painful as it may be, let us submit. For if we begin to question, we are going to be like the Israelites, and we are going to end up losing his favor. If there is one thing that we should not do, is to find ourselves in a space where we have lost the favor from God. So instead, let us be strengthened. Let us hold on to him, for he's the one that knows our beginning and our end. I want to thank everybody, those that have lived with Mandla, and thank you for having borrowed us Mandla. We appreciate it very much as the biking fraternity. Will forever cherish Mandla. He will forever live in our memories. I have not consulted with my club. Be not surprised when you hear that I'm recalled from the position of president. But I thought that it is very befitting with the powers vested in me, because sometimes there are these powers that are given in me to make unilateral decisions. Otherwise, I shall not be knowing the purpose of this position. And that is the unilateral decision that I've made while seated there. Mandla wanted to be a TLB member, full TLB member. He gave me his reasons why he wanted to be a member. You know, when you want to be a TLB member, unfortunately, you must have a cruiser bike. You know, that is, I don't know whether that is discrimination constitutionally or what, Mr. Program Director, but that is the case. And I'm sure there is a purpose for that. And that is what our Constitution stipulates. Mandla was in the process of buying a cruiser bike in order for him to be a full member of Tshwane Legend Bikers. Club. That was already pronounced. Unfortunately, he did not live to attain that. Now, the decision that I've made without consultation is to award Mandla the honorary membership status, which will mean that the PRO, between today and Saturday, Mandla's waistcoat must be ready in full TLB colors, and then it must be framed, and it must be handed over to the family. I want no disappointment in that. Thank you very much.
Bikers, helmets up, please.
Just give us a minute. We're setting up. The program is still going inside. Yeah, we're setting up outside. We're on DMNG 11.